NFL today, where Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL, takes you first on the field. The Titans and Dolphins are about to do battle, so let's head out to Miami, where Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts are standing by. Gentlemen.
JB, no shortage of storylines here in South Florida today. The Tennessee Titans at 5-3 coming off their bye week, taking on the 4-4 Miami Dolphins, who have yet to win a game here at Sun Life Stadium. It's being called a fresh start for seven-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Randy Moss, arriving earlier today, claimed off waivers by Tennessee last week. Moss playing for his third team this season, and he makes his Titans debut this afternoon in Miami. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. He is one of the most talented wide receivers in NFL history, but it's been a rather bizarre season for Randy Moss, and it takes another turn here today. He's putting on a Titans uniform for the first time. Is this a good fit, Dan?
Well, I think it's really a wait-and-see situation for both Moss and the Titans. He has more baggage than he has big plays this year. But from a strategic standpoint, Jeff Fisher thinks that this will help open up the running attack for running back Chris Johnson. But questions will always surround Randy Moss, as they have throughout his 13-year career.
Who is throwing Moss the football today? That was the question coming in. It's not Vince Young. Young is the number 2 quarterback today. He's got a high ankle sprain. He's not fully recovered from that. Originally suffered it against Jacksonville, re-aggravated it 2 weeks ago before the bye against San Diego. So, Kerry Collins elevated. He is the number 1 quarterback and the starter here today.
And Collins told us yesterday that he thinks Moss will thrive in the small market of Nashville and with the environment that the Titans have built under Jeff Fisher. And as important as that may be, his rapport with Moss is excellent. They go back to a very productive season in 05 with the Oakland Raiders, and that will help in their communication, Ian. He told us yesterday that all he has to do to Moss is give him a number, and Moss will know what route to run.
It is the start of the second half of the season officially for both of these teams. The Miami Dolphins are at 4-4, and they're looking for something to jumpstart their season. Tony Sperano makes the decision. He's going to make a change at quarterback from Chad Henne to Chad Pennington. Is it the right move?
Well, it's a desperate move, and desperate situations call for desperate measures, and that's what faces the Dolphins right now. They trail the Jets and the Patriots by 2 games, but the intangibles of leadership and confidence that Pennington brings to the offense is what Tony Sperano is looking for. Pennington's an accurate passer. He gets better the closer he gets to the end zone, and that is important. Only 11 offensive touchdowns in the first half of the season for the Dolphins so far.
The numbers have been shaky offensively, among the worst teams scoring this season, and just not a lot of big plays for this Dolphins squad. Time right now for today's Home Depot Tools to Victory.
Titan running back Chris Johnson could have a banner day today against the Dolphins, especially if the Dolphins continue to miss tackles as they did last week against Baltimore. For Miami on offense, Brandon Marshall, the talented wide receiver, he needs to get in the end zone. Of his 52 catches, that one there is his only trip to the end zone. Well, as far as the tools to victory is concerned for Miami, they've got to run Ricky and Ronnie. They're both averaging over 4 yards a carry. They need to do at least that today to take the pressure off quarterback Chad Pennington. And for the Titans, pressure Pennington. Chad could be rusty. His last game was nearly 14 months ago.
For more Home Depot player stats, log on to CBSSports.com. The Tennessee Titans are in a battle in the AFC South. That division is up for grabs. The Miami Dolphins have not won a game at home. We've got all the action coming up. The Titans and the Dolphins will get things started next on CBS.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
And back in Miami Gardens, Sun Life Stadium, 79 degrees, mostly sunny skies. The forecast the rest of the afternoon as the Titans and Dolphins go at it here in Miami. Tony Sperano is looking for something from this team. He knows that they're kind of stuck in a standstill right now at 4-4, coming off a 26-10 loss in Baltimore last week. They had 4 turnovers. And Jeff Fisher, he never wavered. He believed that Randy Moss would be the right fit for this team. Tennessee has won the toss. Dan Carpenter kicks it off to Mark Mariani, former college teammates themselves at Montana. And it's a touchback. Titans will have it at the 20-yard line. Kerry Collins, over 39,000 career passing yards. He leads this Tennessee offense here today.
And he's anxious to have Randy Moss on his side again. He says that Moss is still the fluid athlete with a great speed and great hands. They played together back in 05. Moss averaged nearly 17 yards a catch with Collins throwing him the ball.
Moss starting, and he opens up on the outside with a 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. They send Moss in motion. Collins looking to throw. Pocket holds up. Collins up top. Nate Washington, the intended receiver. Vontae Davis drawing the assignment on the outside. Incomplete. Michael Roos, part of this strong offensive line. Roos has been durable, as has Jake Scott. They just don't miss games. 89 consecutive starts for Roos. Backs and receivers, Randy Moss. Jeff Fisher telling us he's never been around anybody who's learned the offense faster than Moss. Fisher saying it's been really impressive, not just to the coaching staff, but to the rest of the team. 3 receivers set. 2nd and 10 for Tennessee. Don't forget about Chris Johnson. He gets the carry, and he is brought down quickly. Carlos Dansby, who has been an animal for this Miami defense, the first man there for the Dolphins. And it gives us a chance to take a look at this Miami defense. Randy Starks, a former 3rd-round pick back in 2004 of Tennessee, so going against his former team today as part of that 3-4 set. Cameron Wake, he is number 2 in the NFL with 8.5 sacks behind Clay Matthews, who's got 10.5. And we've already seen Vontae Davis drawing the assignment on Nate Washington. Davis actually shut out Randy Moss. The last time those two went head-to-head, it was New England against Miami. It turned out to be Moss's final game as a Patriot.
And confusion with the Titans offense. Players not lining up correctly. Collins, instead of taking a delay of game penalty, called timeout.
Where does Tennessee stand right now in the AFC South? Now they're tied with Indianapolis. We know that Indy is dealing with a load of injuries. Houston at 4-4, Jacksonville at 4-4 right now. The most competitive division in the NFL.
Titans lost last time out. They did have a bye to get some guys healthy, and of course the acquisition of number 84. We've already seen how Mike Heimerdinger wants to use him, moving him around quite a bit early.
And for Miami, 4-4, 1-2 in the division. Losses to the Jets and New England here at home. Also lost to Pittsburgh at home. They have road wins at Buffalo, Minnesota, Green Bay, and Cincinnati. 3rd and 10, shotgun formation, dime package for Miami. Collins hit as he throws, and somehow the ball floated out to Bo Scaife, who fumbles. Bo Scaife coughs it up, and the Dolphins, they've got it.
Bo Scaife trying to reach for the first down. He was tackled at about the 28. He decided to see if he could reach out and make that 30-yard line. Ball came out.
Chris Clemens on the recovery for Miami.
Watch Scaife as he's trying to get away from Dansby there, and Dansby rips it out. Heads up by the Dolphins. Exactly what they need. That's only the 4th fumble recovery in 8 games plus.
Miami looking for a spark. They get a spark from Carlos Dansby, who knocks the ball free. Bo Scaife on the fumble, and the Miami Dolphins take over at the 31-yard line.
That the runner was down by contact.
So a challenge. Pete Morelli announcing that Jeff Fisher wants them to take a look at it. And questioning whether or not Bo Scaife was already down. Was that knee down, and did he still have the football? We'll find out officially when we come back.
Bo Scaife trying to get to the first down line at the 30-yard line, and Carlos Dansby will reach in. Scaife reaches out with the ball. Ball comes out, and And Clemens is there for the recovery, just what the Dolphins need, especially here at home, Ian, where they've had all kinds of trouble. 0-4 playing at home this year. Only 2 teams in the NFL not one at home this year, and that's Buffalo and the Dallas Cowboys.
So Pete Morelli with the announcement.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Tennessee will be charged with timeout and the challenge.
Chris Clemens with his first career fumble recovery in his second year out of Clemson, and Jeff Fisher the challenge. Does nothing to change the mind of the referee. So Miami takes over a 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line of the Titans.
And you can see Tennessee only has 1 timeout left now in the first half because Collins had to use a timeout in the 3rd play of the game.
First series for the Dolphins with Chad Pennington under center. Play action. Pennington looking, throwing, and incomplete in the area of Fasano as Jason Babin provided the pressure on the quarterback. Chad Pennington, 34 years old. He has not started a game since season-ending shoulder injury that he suffered week 3 against San Diego last season.
Yeah, he told us yesterday he hopes to provide the energy and passion for this underperforming offense today. The key will be how he handles long drives and the red zone. Close to the red zone now, 11 yards away.
Chad Henne in an unfamiliar role as a backup. Starter 4 years in high school, starter 4 years in college. Had 3 interceptions last week. Pennington, good throw to Hartline. And Hartline breaking a tackle. Brought down inside the 15. Michael Griffin there. Chad Pennington making the connection with Hartline for a first down.
Watch Hartline here as he's going to run the crossing route. Totally busted coverage by the Titans. And Hartline getting down all the way to the 12-yard line for a gain of 19. But that's what Pennington will do. He can read the defense. A lot of experience there, number 10.
And a timeout called with 13 and change left in the first. Miami threatening.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The new Windows Phone. It's time for a phone to save us from our phones. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Chad Pennington is on the sideline. Medical staff is looking at him. Meanwhile, Miami is running the Wildcat with Ronnie Brown. And Brown is tackled at the 10-yard line after the gain of 2 by Jason Babin. They were just checking out the right arm of Pennington. This was the first play from scrimmage, Dan, where Pennington was incomplete.
Well, he's going to run right into Jake Long, who is pass blocking on Dave Ball. Ball pushes back Long into the quarterback. And it just appeared that as he followed through, he hits the back of Long. Remember, this man has had 3 surgeries on that right shoulder, and he's going in for more medical attention right now.
2 plays today for Pennington. Chad Henne is in, and a handoff to Ronnie Brown, and Babin was there and fully prepared for it. Let's take you back. September 27, 2009 at San Diego. A right shoulder injury for Pennington. Nothing that's that blatant or obvious on the replay, and he missed the rest of the season.
He talked about the experience that Henne has. Well, obviously, Henne took over from that point and has been the quarterback all along until the last 3 plays.
The adage, you always have to be ready. Chad Henne finds himself back under center. First quarter of the game that he was supposed to be the backup, and a timeout taken. What a strange start to this one in South Florida. No score, Titans and Dolphins. Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans scoreless. 12-minute mark of this first quarter, and Chad Henne in at quarterback after an injury to Chad Pennington. Timeouts. Each team has already used 2. The Titans had some offensive confusion, called a timeout. Then they lost a challenge and lost a timeout. Dolphins had the quarterback injury and then a play clock issue. And now they face a 3rd and 11 at the 13-yard line. Henne to throw. Dumps it off over the middle. And Lou Polite comes up short of the goal line, but Polite should have a first down.
Yeah, he lowered his head. Polite goes 245. Good job of Henne checking down to Polite. Again, wide open over the middle. That's twice now that the Titans have left a receiver wide open, and that will cost them, as Polite will get the first down.
They're going to measure it for Polite. His 8th catch of the season.
Now, if I'm in the Dolphins, if he doesn't get this, you got to go for it on 4th down. If you're looking for a spark, picking it up on 4th down would be that spark.
He's got enough. New set of downs. 1st and goal coming up as Randy Moss awaits his turn to get back on the field for Tennessee. Miami has sent out an extra offensive lineman. Corey Proctor is in the game. Number 71 in his 6th year from Montana, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys.
And he'll line up at the weak side tight end position. He is an eligible receiver.
1st and goal for Miami on a handoff. Ronnie Brown is in. Touchdown, Dolphins.
And Proctor's a very good blocker. That's why he's in there. He cleared the way for Ronnie Brown. That's Brown's first touchdown here at Sun Life Stadium this season. Here's Proctor. He seals the edge here. Good kick out block there as well. And nobody for Polite to block as Brown goes in standing up.
And Miami scores off the turnover by Scaife. Carpenter knocks through the extra point. Dolphins with a 7-0 lead at the 11:23 mark of this first quarter. Ronnie Brown taking it in for his 3rd touchdown of the season.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chevrolet. Every model is backed by a 100,000-mile, 5-year powertrain limited warranty. And by Sprint, the Now Network.
Miami goes in front 7-0 over Tennessee. A 6-play, 31-yard drive. Ronnie Brown 2-yard touchdown. Miami now has 37 points on its first possession of the game, and that leads the NFL. New Orleans just behind them. Dan Carpenter kicking off. Mark Mariani will have to take a knee, and Tennessee will open up at the 20-yard line. Titans debut for Randy Moss. How has Moss done in the past? Well, his NFL debut, 95 yards, 2 touchdowns for Minnesota. First game as an Oakland Raider, 5 for 130 and a touchdown. First game as a New England Patriot, 9 for 183 and a touchdown. His return to Minnesota, he puts a touchdown on the board. 4 catches, 81 yards.
And if he catches a touchdown pass today, he'll be the first player ever to score for 3 different teams in one season. I'm not sure that's a stat you'd be real proud of.
Yeah, that's one of those right down the line. I'm not sure how many guys that are considered elite players have played for 3 teams in 1 year. Chris Johnson getting the call, and nothing there for Johnson as Miami was prepared defensively. He picks up a couple on the play.
Well, one thing that they will do with Moss today, as we've already seen it, they'll put him in motion and try to keep the Dolphins from double teaming him. But the man who could really benefit along with Chris Johnson is the slot receiver, Devon Bess, who works a lot over the middle when he's in the game.
2nd and 8. Scaife with Stevens. It's a double tight end set. Fake the handoff. Collins steps up. Collins dialing up the deep ball for Moss. It actually hits Davis in the back. And a flag thrown.
Ball underthrown. Davis never turned around for it. Had contact with Moss down the field. So this will go against Vontae Davis.
Pass interference. Number 21 of the defense. Automatic. First down.
Now, one thing about Kerry Collins, he's not afraid to throw the deep ball, especially to Randy Moss. You can see the double coverage here. It's dropped, and then the safety comes over later. There's Bell, but there's the contact. Easy call.
33-yard penalty. Collins, very deep drop. That ball got knocked up in the air and incomplete. Koamisi, the rookie out of Utah, got a piece of it at the line of scrimmage.
Trying to set up the screen is Collins. And there's Koamisi popping that ball up in the air like a perfect set in volleyball. Jeremiah Bell just did not make the dig, if you will.
You gonna go Karch Karai on me here?
Well, my daughter did finish 4th in the state of Oregon just the other night.
It's a plug.
Kind of proud of the Sisters Outlaws.
Congratulations.
Way to go, Shannon.
Dime package here for Miami. 2nd and 10 for Tennessee from the 44. Handoff to Johnson. Johnson, he's got a running lane. Johnson, first down as he hits the 25-yard line. Good block on that left side from Leroy Harris. It's a 19-yard rip for Johnson.
Hitting off the left side, this is just a huge hole for Chris Johnson. You see how quickly he'll get through it. Right here, Roos with a good block to seal the inside. Channing Crowder gets kind of caught up there, but that's a huge hole for Chris Johnson.
He leads the NFL in rushing yards and touchdowns on the road this season. 1st and 10 from the 25. It's Johnson again, but nothing there on the left side this time. Tony McDaniel will be given credit for the stop for Miami. And Kendall Langford lost a shoe in the process. Chris Johnson, over 100 yards per game on the road. And what does the presence of Moss do for Johnson is one of those big questions looming for this Tennessee offense. Moss matched up with Al Harris, who just got picked up by Miami, the 2-time Pro Bowler. Collins looking in the other direction. He slings to Ahmad Hall, and the fullback is able to stay on his feet and get extra yardage inside the 20. Short of a first down, Jeremiah Bell with the stop.
Ahmad Hall does not see the ball very often. He only has 1 carry. This is just his 4th catch of the season, but this is what he does so well, is he gets right up the field and uses that bulk at 241 to get close to the first down.
Remember, Tennessee does not have Kenny Britt, out with a serious hamstring injury, so the addition of Moss was so key because of that storyline as well. Shotgun formation, 3rd and 2. Johnson right up the middle, and Johnson is in for the touchdown. Chris Johnson hits the hole hard, and a 17-yard run for the score.
And you just asked the question, what will the effect and the presence of Moss do for Chris Johnson? We just seen it right here. Look at the double coverage. Both safeties are deep, and look, watch where this ball comes. Right by Sean Smith. Too late to make the play. Coming over is Chris Clemens, and Johnson in the end zone. That's because they were worried about Moss in the fade route. They double teamed him on that side and opened it up for Johnson.
9th rushing touchdown of the season for Johnson. Rob Baronis on for the extra point. We are tied at 7 with 8:32 to play in the opening quarter here in Miami. The Titans methodically go down the field with a mix of the pass and the run, and it's Johnson going to pay dirt.
You're watching the NFL on CBS.
6-play, 80-yard drive culminating in a 17-yard Chris Johnson touchdown run. 39 yards on that drive for Johnson, and Tennessee has tied this game at 7 apiece. And the long pass interference penalty certainly helped things along the way for Tennessee.
Yeah, you can see the Dolphins are very worried about the big play to Randy Moss.
Rob Baronis kicking it off to Nolan Carroll. That one is deep in the end zone and a knee taken. Dolphins will have it at the 20. Chad Pennington, first possession for Miami, first play for Miami on offense. And Pennington suffers a right shoulder injury. His return is questionable.
Yeah, he was hit from behind by Jason Babin, pushed into his offensive tackle from the other side, Jake Long, and just something went wrong in that surgically repaired shoulder. Tough to play quarterback with 3 shoulder surgeries.
Chad Henne, who's had 20 interceptions since week 12 of last season. That's the most in the NFL over that span. Hands it off to Ricky Williams, who gets the call on this series for Miami. That's what Tony Sparano has been doing, going with Brown to open it up, and then Ricky Williams gets his opportunity. Take a look at the starting offense for Miami. Vernon Carey, big matchup today against speed rusher Jason Babbitt, who's got 7 sacks this year. Backs and receivers, Brandon Marshall, only 1 touchdown this season. He does have 52 catches. He's on line to catch 100 balls this year, but they're not turning it into points. 2nd and 10 now for the Dolphins. Play clock winding down. Henne operating out of the gun. Running play again. Ricky Williams steamrolling through the middle. And Williams across the 25. Strong gain for Williams, sets up 3rd and a manageable 3. Defensively for Tennessee, Tony Brown is back. He missed 2 games before the bye because of a knee injury, and he changes things on that front 4. Linebackers, Will Witherspoon had a 10-tackle performance in that loss to San Diego 2 weeks ago. And in the secondary, Michael Griffin continues to make plays. 4 interceptions in his last 5 games. 3rd and 3. Henne throwing incomplete. He was trying to hit Patrick Cobbs. And Miami is forced to punt, unable to convert on the 3rd down.
And this has been a problem for Chad Henne, is the shorter passes, the touch passes. Here you're throwing to a back out of the backfield. You have to be very accurate with that one. If the catch is made, it's an easy 1st down for the Dolphins. He just led Cobbs too far to the outside.
Brandon Fields on, averaging 43.5 yards per punt with a long of 68 this year. Mark Mariani is the deep man. A fake.
And they snap, direct snap, and it's going to be short of the 1st down. Cobbs was the personal protector, and the Titans were not fooled at all.
Boy, Miami rolling the dice early, and Jeff Fisher is fired up. The Titans are going to take over at the 29-yard line of the Dolphins.
Here's Cobbs. He's the personal protector. It's a direct snap to him, and he's supposed to come right up the middle. The play is made there by number 98 coming across. That's Dave Ball. And Fisher very excited about his special teams being heads up.
The gamble for Tony Sperano. And the Titans make the play on special teams. They take over in a tie game, 7:02 to play in the 1st. Collins to throw it. Protection is there, and the ball is dropped by Bo Scaife. Scaife had the fumble earlier, and now the drop for the tight end as we head to New York right now. Check in with JB.
Ian and Dan, a Cincy mistake on 2nd and 9. Carson Palmer here throwing and is picked off by Kelvin Hayden. He returned it 31 yards to pay dirt. Hayden's 2nd pick this season. Both were scores. Colts on top, 10-0 late in the 1st. Ian Eagle and Dan Fouts.
And JB, Colts continue to find ways, even with a depleted roster. Important game here for Tennessee as well, with Indy in mind. Short side of the field, Chris Johnson angled out of bounds. And Johnson able to cross the 25-yard line in the process, short of a 1st down. Sean Smith over there to make sure that Johnson was unable to turn it upfield. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, Mike Heimerdinger, the offensive coordinator, is asking him about the pass rush of the Dolphins. He says, I'm very comfortable with Michael Roos at my left tackle, the blind side tackle for Kerry Collins. Roos is having a big day run blocking as well.
Justin Gage is in there. He's missed the last 4 games with a hamstring injury. This is a 3rd and 7 for Tennessee. Deep drop. Collins throwing. Low pass is handled. And Gage gets hit hard. Al Harris, the veteran presence, making sure that Gage did not get to the marker.
That's an outstanding play by the Dolphin defense. First of all, getting great pressure on Collins, forcing him to backpedal and throw this off balance. How about that catch by Gage? And here Harris closes and finishes.
They needed 7. They got 3. Al Harris let go by the Green Bay Packers, and Tony Sperano said, we wanted him. They released Jason Allen in the process. 40-yard field goal attempt for Rob Baronis, who's been excellent this season. And Baronis converts to give Tennessee a 10-7 lead here in the 1st. Tennessee with a 3-point lead over Miami. Yesterday here in South Florida, the Navy commissioned a USS Jason Dunham, honoring the Marine Corporal who was a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient. Several Dolphins players and team officials visited the Dunham this week to commemorate the Veterans Day holiday. And of course, our thoughts go out and our support for all of the military personnel out there. Veterans Weekend. We've seen a pronounced military presence here in the Miami area. We know our games go overseas as well, so our thanks to everybody out there helping our country. Terry Collins and Randy Moss, chemistry that goes back to their Oakland days. They are yet to hook up here today, although Moss did get a 33-yard pass interference call that helped Tennessee's first drive to put up 7 on the board. Rob Baronis kicking it off. And Nolan Carroll will take it. Baronis, by the way, now 19 consecutive field goals, tying a club record that he actually holds himself. Tomorrow on CBS, don't miss a new episode of TV's #1 new show. It's Hawaii Five-0. That's tomorrow, only CBS.
Book it.
Dano. 1st and 10 at the 20 for the Dolphins. What does this do to the team? They come in all week excited about Chad Pennington, his leadership, his poise, his veteran presence. And you look out there and it's Henny once again. Henny throws. Catch made by Hartline, and Hartline unable to get to the first down line. He'll be a little bit short as Alteron Werner makes the stop.
Well, they're fortunate that Henny's played a lot of football. You know, he's been the starting quarterback since Pennington got hurt last year in September, so it's not like there's a drop-off in his knowledge of the offense or the game plan. But that pass right there will do so much for him and his teammates, completing that pass for a first down on first down.
It's all a good spot at the 30-yard line, and they do move the chains with a first down for the Dolphins. Hand off to Ronnie Brown, and he's bottled up. Able to pick up 3 yards up the middle, but not much else there as Dave Ball in on the stop for Tennessee.
Well, the one thing the Dolphins think they can do today, because the Titans on defense, their front four, they play their ends very wide. And the Dolphins are confident that they can run in between those defensive ends. It's something that they do very well, both Brown and Williams.
Miami comes in averaging just under 18 points per game. That's 28th in the NFL in that category. On a 2nd and 7, Brown slipping 1 tackle, but he could not get away from the combination of Tulloch and Witherspoon for Tennessee, and it sets up 3rd down and 7 now for Miami.
You talked about Tony Brown being back. Jason Babin told us yesterday that Brown brings the big boy rush, prevents the quarterback from stepping up in the pocket, and that gives those wide ends a better shot at bringing the quarterback down around the corner.
It's not the biggest name group out there, Tennessee, on that front four, but boy, they've been effective. Henny, short trot, and throwing into no man's land. Fasano was the intended receiver. Werner supplied the pressure on Henny, and Miami goes quietly on this drive. They'll punt.
Yeah, the rookie from UCLA, Alteron Werner, is just going to sneak right in here. It's a delayed blitz by Werner, and it's an effective one. Totally uncovered. That forces Henny to throw the ball perhaps sooner than he wanted to.
And it looked like Henny and Fasano were exchanging some words after the play. Fields punting to Mariani. It's returnable. Mariani across the 40. Mariani into Miami territory and forced out of bounds as he hit the 45-yard line by Jonathan Amaya on special teams. Excellent field position once again for the Titans. CBSSports.com experts are providing the award-winning advice you need to finish strong in your fantasy football league. It's all at fantasynews.cbssports.com.
Yeah, almost looks like the Dolphins are in shock. This just shouldn't happen. They've had trouble with their special teams all year. Dobbins gets pinned to the inside. Mariani gets down the sidelines for 30 yards.
And the left foot stepped out of bounds at the 47 of Miami. So that's where Tennessee will have it with a 1st and 10. Still have 3.5 to play in this first quarter. Bootleg. Collins unable to make the connection with Craig Stevens, the 3rd-year tight end out of California. And we talked to Stevens about the addition of Randy Moss And Steven said, yeah, all my buddies were calling me, were texting me to see if we picked up Randy Moss. I went to bed, I woke up, and I found out on the internet that we actually got him.
Well, this is the year 2010.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there, Dan, on the World Wide Web.
At your fingertips at times.
Literally. Stevens, 7 catches for 83 yards, had a touchdown in that loss to San Diego a couple of weeks ago with his family in attendance. Javon Ringer getting the call and a hop step through the middle as he picks up a yard. Randy Starks there to make the stop against his former team.
Let's check in on Randy Moss so far in his first quarter. Here's the pass interference penalty on Vontae Davis. That was good for 33 yards. And now the coverage on him. Good job by Vontae Davis that time. And then really not Moss's strength, but it was good enough to get Johnson whooshing right by him.
3rd and 9. At the 46-yard line, Ringer stays in there. Collins, crowd is energized. Collins stands tall in the pocket. High throw. And too high for Nate Washington to go upstairs to get it. The Titans go 3 and out after the long Mariani punt return. Tony McDaniel supplying the heat on Kerry Collins.
Yeah, that was good pressure by the Dolphins front 4 that time. Cameron Wake in there as well, and that forced that high throw. Looked like Washington was open and looked like Washington had enough for the first down.
Brett Kern punting. Devon Bess averaging 10.8 yards per return is the deep man standing at his own 10-yard line. High punt. Bess is going to let it bounce, and boy, it took a quick roll to the end zone. Fortunate for Miami. A 46-yard punt, but a net of 26, and they'll have it at the 20. Devon Bess, part of this week's Fouts Focus.
Well, Bess is becoming one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. Slot receiver must recognize what type of defense he's facing, whether it's zone or man-to-man. Then he must have quick reactions to making the correct read. But once Bess gets the ball in his hands, his yardage after catch is exceptional. Of his 44 catches this season, 25 have resulted in first downs.
We'll see if Henny can get him involved. We haven't seen Brandon Marshall involved at all in this first quarter. And the offense has just been disjointed for Miami. It continues. Chad Henne is sacked. Big Tony Brown. He's back and he's having an impact for the Titans.
6'3", 305 pounds. There he is working right here against Richie Incognito. He blows by Incognito and picks up his 3rd.5 sack of the season. But that's what you call the big boy pass rush, according to defensive line coach Jim Washburn.
It's a loss of 7 on the play. 2nd and 17. Bess in there as a 3rd receiver. And he faked the handoff. Short throw. They get the ball to Bess. And doesn't have a lot of room to work with as he extends just shy of the 15-yard line. Alteron Werner holding on for dear life, and he brings him down.
Werner really has played outstanding football for the Titans at corner. Just a rookie 4th-round pick out of UCLA. Alternated earlier in the season with Jason McCourty, a 2nd-year player. McCourty is back in the lineup after being injured earlier, but has not been able to reclaim that starting spot from Werner.
But he is in right now as a 5th defensive back, McCourty. That's when Werner often moves to the slot. 3rd and 15. Flags are thrown. Henne out of the pocket. Dump off for Ricky Williams. And spun down out across the 15-yard line by Stephen Tulloch. Penalty marker on the play.
And this will be against Miami and will be refused.
Illegal formation, offense. Wide receiver covered up the tight end. Penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Miami has had a very tough time generating any offense. Chad Henne entered the day as the backup, pushed into action after the injury to Chad Pennington. A right shoulder injury. His return is questionable. And Miami will punt it once again with Brandon Fields. Mariani is standing at his own 36-yard line, so the potential for excellent field position once again. Mariani makes 2 men miss. Mariani working the sideline and out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Pushed by Jonathan Amaya. 51-yard punt. It's a 14-yard return for the rookie out of Montana, Mark Mariani. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by the fine folks at DirecTV.
Well, how much courage does it take to stand under a punt, knowing these guys are running full speed at you, and the only thing you can do is to make a quick move and get away from them? Great job by Mariani.
Division I AA product Mark Mariani. It's been a difference maker for Tennessee. Chris Johnson going up the middle. Craig Stevens with a good block, and Johnson able to pick up necessary yardage. We go to JB in New York.
Ian and Dan, Colts are capitalizing off the Cincy turnovers. This is the second Cincy turnover that was capped by this running back Javaris James 3-yard scamper for the Colts. 14 points off the turnovers, 17-0 Colts over Cincy in the second. Ian and Dan.
So Indy turning it on. Chris Johnson over 4,000 yards in his career after that last rush for 7 yards and a penalty marker on the play. He's got a lot more yards in front of him. Why is 4,000 so important? Just the amount of time he's done it in.
Number 73 offense, 5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Jake Scott called on the penalty. Let's head back to the Big Apple. More from JB.
Hey, Ian and Dan, running back Peyton Hill is 7 carries, 47 yards, including his 12-yard touchdown run. His 8th rushing touchdown of the season. 4 plays, 61 yards. Dan Fouts, you think that Cleveland made out with this Peyton trade? Ian and Dan.
I think so, JB.
What a story that kid has been this year. Peyton Hillis, as this first quarter comes to a close. Tennessee with a 10-7 lead over Miami will return to South Florida. Coming up after these messages, you're watching the NFL on CBS. Chris Johnson, 6th fastest to 4,000 rushing yards in NFL history. First play of the second quarter, knocked up in the air and incomplete. Trying to get it to Bo Scaife. Cameron Wake can wreak havoc.
Well, he's got 8.5 sacks, as you said, Ian. That's good for second most in the NFL. But how about that athletic play? Getting beyond Scaife and then getting up in the air. Titans felt that screen passes would be effective today against the Dolphins after watching what the Baltimore Ravens did to Miami last weekend.
Two-time Canadian Football League defensive MVP. Boy, has he ever found his niche here in the NFL. This is a 3rd and 8 now for Collins and the Titans. Rush is coming. Collins unloads. Bo Scaife catches it, but it's well short of a first down. Read perfectly by Carlos Dansby. And Tennessee will punt as Jeremiah Bell provided that pressure on Collins, and he knew it was coming.
Well, all Dansby does is just about make every play, whether it's in the secondary or at the line of scrimmage. Outstanding pickup by the Dolphins.
Signed a 5-year, $43 million contract. He has got great range at that outside linebacker position. Kern punting to Gavon Bess. And a fair catch at the 19. That's where Miami will set up shop. We'll see if Chad Henne can find some form of rhythm in this first half. Next. No catches yet for Randy Moss, making his first appearance as a member of the Tennessee Titans. Kerry Collins in for Vince Young, who is the number 2 quarterback today. Flea flicker. Henne airing it out. Hartline is down there and brought down at the 25. Miami looking for a big play, and they go into the bag of tricks for it.
Well, their first trick on the fake punt didn't work. Sperano tells Henning, we got another trick play, don't we? This one is perfectly executed. The handoff to Ricky Williams, and Ricky pivots, gives Henne a real good pitch back, and there's that strong right arm of Chad Henne. Hartline behind the secondary, Alteron Werner by about 5 yards.
The longest pass play of the season for Henne, 54 yards. 1st and 10 at the 26 of Tennessee for the Dolphins. 3 receivers set. Henne pumping, throwing too deep for Brandon Marshall. The coverage from Cortland Finnegan. Pro Bowler in 2008, the feisty corner.
Well, let's see how this play affects the safety right here. Here's Hartline. He's going to go down the field, get inside Werner. But once Ricky gets the ball here, that's enough for the safety to bite up on it. If this ball is thrown 2 yards farther, Hartline scores.
Hartline, who's got blazing speed in his second year from Ohio State. Marlon Moore is in the game as a fourth receiver, rookie from Fresno State. 2nd and 10 for the Dolphins. From the gun, Henny. Safety valve, it's Ricky Williams. And Williams banged down short of the 20-yard line. We had a chance to spend some time with Ricky Williams, and he told us this team is teetering between being just an average team or a really good team. We need something to spark us. He felt that Pennington just brought that experience and leadership, but he did say when we asked him about the quarterbacks that Chad Henne brings the chance for a big play, and we saw it earlier in this possession.
Well, they've not had big plays. Their longest run is a 51-yarder. Before that last pass, their longest pass was a 46-yarder.
3rd and 5 at the 21-yard line. Henne locks in on Brandon Marshall, and he's got a first down inside the 15. Henne, he got hit hard by Alteron Werner, but was able to get rid of it and a new set of downs.
This is good pressure and good pass protection by the Dolphins. Marshall running from the slot here. Watch how the pressure is handled, except Werner gets in on the quarterback again. This time he knocks Henne all the way to the ground.
Line of scrimmage is now the 13-yard line. Only one touchdown this season for Brandon Marshall. Handoff, Ronnie Brown. And Brown driven backwards as he hit the line of scrimmage. Tim Shaw among those leading that charge for Tennessee.
Well, the pass rush of the Titans has been good all year long. It knocked Chad Pennington out of the game earlier. There's Werner with his first blitz, and then the sack by Tony Brown. But this is a very varied defensive plan that Chuck Cecil has. He can bring pressure from his down lineman, but also feels today that he can bring the safety, Werner, in the nickel blitz.
They lead the NFL in sacks per game at 3.3, but had only 4 in their last 3 games prior to today. 2nd and 10 now for Miami. Henne, deep drop, throwing over the middle, hits Hartline, and he takes a smack from Michael Griffin just short of the 5-yard line. It'll be 3rd down coming up.
Quickness on display, both offensively for the Dolphins. Henne got rid of that ball quickly, but how quick does Michael Griffin close after the catch? There's your answer very quickly. Good solid tackle. Hartline down at the 5.
Tennessee leads the NFL in defensive red zone efficiency, limiting touchdowns in the red zone. 3rd and 2. Empty backfield. Henne looking, throws it up in the air. Broke it up. Hartline, the intended receiver, and Jason McCourty, the young corner out of Rutgers, there to close in and make the play.
Well, and I'm wondering why not throwing it to Brandon Marshall. Hartline at 6'2", he cannot get beyond McCourty here, but Marshall again only has 1 touchdown out of 53 catches now on the season. Good job by McCourty to swat that ball away from Hartline.
Dan Carpenter, he has made 22 straight field goals within 45 yards, and he knocks that one through from 23 yards away. We are all tied up at 10 in the second.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. We understand you need a winning game plan. FedEx. Wells Fargo Advisors. And by Acura. The most innovative thinking you'll find in an Acura.
Beautiful day to be out at South Beach, but even better to be here at Sun Life Stadium. Tennessee and Miami tied at 10. Hartline, the big play downfield. Eventually, Miami had to settle for the field goal. And now Dan Carpenter kicking off to Mark Mariani. Mariani's going to take it out from the goal line. And Mariani is buried as he hit the 20-yard line. Rashad Jones on special teams. Saturday, Home Depot SEC on CBS. Ole Miss battles the Bayou Bengals of LSU. The action begins live at 3 Eastern with TIAA Crep College Football Today. You were sweating a little bit last night, were you not, Dan?
10-0, baby. It's all about the O, as in Oregon.
Yeah. It was a big matchup for you and our producer Bob Monsbach and his Cal Bears, who came up just a little bit short against the #1 team in the country. On first down, bootleg, Collins throwing, well designed to Justin Gage, and a first down across the 30. Carlos Dansby over there defensively. Time for an NFL Today update. Let's check in with JB in New York.
Ian and Dan on 3rd and 8. Answering the Cleveland drive, Mark Sanchez hooks up with Jericho Cotchery. 25-yard pass play, capping a 9-play, 76-yard drive. Sanchez, 8 of 11, 71 yards and a touch. 10 all there. Back to Ian and Mr. Oregon Duck himself, Dan Fouts.
Whack, whack. Thank you, JB.
First down for Tennessee. No mention of Syracuse, JB. I wouldn't mind to plug myself. Collins to throw. And it's Johnson releasing out of the backfield. This is one thing that stood out, Dan, looking at the numbers with Chris Johnson. That's just his 23rd catch of the season, and he's got 97 yards through the air. That's an average of about 4.9 yards per catch. You know Johnson's capable of more than that.
Well, he's got such great speed, and in his career, of course, he's been that big game breaker. I would expect him to get a lot more action, especially against the Dolphins today.
And the average is closer to 4 yards per catch as Johnson gets the carry up the middle, and the pile pushed forward. It's going to be very close to a first down. Back to New York and JB.
Ian and Dan, Bears take the lead on 3rd and 14. Jake Cutler drills this laser there to tight end Greg Olsen, 17-yard strike. Cap at a 10-play, 71-yard drive. Chicago on top by 4. Back to Mr. Syracuse, Ian Eagle.
There it is.
Boy, begging for it.
Yeah, I did beg for that one from Mr. Harvard. 1st and 10. Enough for the first down for Tennessee. Johnson in the backfield. Nope, it's Javon Ringer getting the call as Johnson gets a breather, and he takes it to the 45-yard line. The new NFL.com mobile apps are here. No matter where you are, you can stay in the game all season long. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more. 2nd and 7 coming up here for Tennessee. How about Randy Moss? What have you seen so far?
Not much. Haven't seen many balls thrown his way. In fact, just one.
2nd and 7. Collins looking. Wobbly throw over the head of Nate Washington. Collins has had issues with his middle finger right hand. Suffered an injury earlier this season.
Yeah, he just looked away from Randy Moss, and I'm not sure that Randy won't go back and say, hey, give me a shot at this. This is against zone coverage. Good route by Moss. He's wide open. But that finger, I think, has given Collins some problems because the pressure was coming, but there was no contact made. He knows, man, I just missed a wide open receiver.
3rd and 7. Rush coming. Collins throwing. And the connection. Ball is loose. Randy Moss unable to secure it. It's ruled incomplete and a flag comes down.
And Moss is still down after that big hit.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass.
But a penalty marker on the play. Titans and Dolphins pointing in one another's direction.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. After the play, personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 76. The 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the previous spot.
And that 6-year veteran David Stewart, the starting right tackle, a mauler known as Big Country, 6'7", 315.
Let's see if Moss made this catch. Dolphins might want to take a look at this. There's the catch. Both feet were on the ground. The ball's popped out. Big hit that time comes in there by Clemens.
Now there's the penalty as Stewart came flying in.
Yeah,
And there's the penalty as Stewart knocks some bodies around. Jeff Fisher's point is
there's a challenge flag out there, Ian.
Fisher believes the whistle had not blown, that Stewart was going after a live football, that they had not blown the whistle to rule whether or not it was a completed catch, incompletion, and a fumble.
Pete Morelli is now coming over and discussing whether this is a challengeable play or not.
There will be no review on the play as the ruling on the field was incomplete pass.
So no challenge here. It's 4th down for Tennessee after the incomplete ball. Randy Moss shaken up on the play.
Big hit right there by Clemens, and then coming in over the top is Stewart.
Now Sperano saying, hey, it's a catch and a fumble, but the ruling stands on the field. Can't go back and determine whether or not it was a complete ball and a fumble when it was already called a incomplete pass.
Easy for you to say and explain. Thank you, though.
You got it.
Because I'm totally in the dark on what's a catch nowadays anyway.
Brett Kern with a punt. Devon Bess back there. It's angling toward the sideline and out of bounds. So Bess doesn't even get a chance to return this ball. And they're going to spot it out across the 25-yard line. A 41-yard punt. Tied at 10 in the second quarter. Miami and Tennessee deadlocked at 10 apiece with 7:31 left in the second quarter. We are still waiting for the first Randy Moss catch. Thought we had it on that last play. It was ruled incomplete. And Miami takes over after the punt at the 29-yard line. Fake the handoff. Henne in some trouble, gets out of it. Henne thrown down from behind. Will Witherspoon giving chase on Chad Henne. Jacob Ford whiffed initially. And coming up Wednesday on CBS, winning this case will take a lot of patience, a little luck, and a touch of magic. Penn Jillette of Penn & Teller guest stars on The Defenders. That's Wednesday only, CBS.
This is a legal shot on Henning. And a strong tackle by Witherspoon. Get out of that pocket, your live game.
Call it second and a long 8 here for Miami. Motion man is Brandon Marshall. Henne in the pocket. Henne looking. Henne throwing sideline route. Incomplete. Devon Bess the intended target. Finnegan over there for Tennessee. Miami playing without Chad Pennington, named the starter this week, making his first start since a season-ending shoulder injury week 3 of last year against San Diego. And the first play of the day for Miami on offense, Pennington injures himself. He ended up actually staying in there for the next play and then was forced out of action. And his return is questionable. No further update beyond that.
Questionable?
Highly questionable. 3rd and 8. Henne setting up the deep ball. Hartline can't haul it in. Michael Griffin drawing the assignment.
Well, that's another big play by Michael Griffin. Hartline broke behind him, gave the high sign to his quarterback. Henne picks him up, but look at, again, the ball slightly underthrown as Hartline's heading to the sidelines. But how about this reaction by Griffin? Going up and pulling the right hand, the right arm away from the ball. That caused the incompletion.
Brandon Fields punting. Mariani. Returnable punt from the 20. Out across the 30. And Mariani continues to make things happen in the return game. A 17-yard return. Jonathan Amaya over there. Kerry Collins and the Titans offense on the field when we come back.
Tech gifts this holiday from Best Buy. And by Allstate. Dollar for dollar. Nobody protects you like Allstate.
Rejoining you here in Miami, Tennessee and the Dolphins tied at 10. It's the start of the second half of the 2010 season for both of these teams. And the Titans take over after the punt. Handoff to Chris Johnson. And Johnson hit from behind as he accelerates. Carlos Dansby with a tackle. Coming up, Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher. The latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. So the decision made by Jeff Fisher to go with Kerry Collins, who is just more healthy than Vince Young is right now with that high ankle sprain. Young actually leading the AFC in passer rating right now, 6-2 in his last 8 games on the road. Johnson carrying the pile with him. And Bo Scaife with a good block. Looks like he's going to be just a little bit short of the first down. Let's go back. Week 7 at Jacksonville. And this is where the problems really started for Vince Young. It was a knee and a high ankle. He said the ankle actually turned out to be the more serious of the 2 injuries. And then against San Diego, Vince Young forced out of the game. They had a Philadelphia game in between that Kerry Collins started. Kenny Britt standing there as well. He's out with a serious hamstring injury. 3rd and 1. Ringer needs 1 yard. Oh, Vontae Davis stonewalling him.
Outstanding tackle by Vontae Davis, who missed a couple of tackles on the perimeter last week against Baltimore. He doesn't miss number 21 here, as the white jersey 21, just as you said, Ian, that's a fantastic tackle. Looked like Ringer was going to get the corner, pick up the first down with ease.
Now Davis is a physical corner, young player out of Illinois, number 25 pick in 09, the younger brother, of course, of San Francisco tight end Vernon Davis. Big defensive stand, Devon Bess from Brett Kern. This one will bounce in the air, and Tennessee is going to down it deep in Miami territory. Alteron Werner getting down the field, a 53-yard punt for Kern. At 4:15 to play in this first half, Miami will have a lot of real estate in front of them.
Great athletic move right here by Werner. He takes off from the 2-yard line and is going to pin the Dolphins all the way back at the 1.5-yard line. What a play. Yeah, you do the math on that. If he doesn't make that play, the ball's out to the 20.
That's interesting. He was an applied mathematics major in college, Alteron Werner from UCLA. Was that on purpose, Dan, or just coincidental?
Which part of that question?
Yeah. First and 10.
Is it multiple choice?
No.
All of the above.
Handoff to Ronnie Brown. And if you do the math there, he got back to the line of scrimmage for no gain. Coming up next Sunday, the NFL on CBS brings you one of the most anticipated games of the year. The Colts and the Patriots continue their red-hot rivalry. It's game 2 of our doubleheader next Sunday here on CBS.
Two of the very best, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady.
Now, Kerry Collins and Randy Moss, all the talk this week, the chemistry they had from their Oakland days. They spent 1 year together with the Raiders back in 2005. Now, they have yet to complete a pass together here this afternoon. Lou Polite, the fullback, trying to create some space. And Polite carries short of the 5-yard line. You just feel like with Miami, all of their preparation for the week was with Chad Pennington at the position, Tony Sperano making that decision, and he said he didn't make this decision haphazardly. This took some time, and it was over the course of a few weeks that he determined that they needed a spark and that Pennington could provide it. Pennington goes out first series of the day with a shoulder injury, and Chad Henne is back in the quarterback role on the field for Miami, trying to lead this offense.
He's not getting a whole lot of help out of the running attack either, less than 2 yards per carry.
Henne over the middle, Fasano, first down. A dart by Henne. Michael Griffin with the hit.
One of the toughest throws to make is out of your own end zone, especially throwing the ball down the middle. But Fasano does a great job for that 31-yard gain. Gets him all the way out to the 35-yard line. Here's Fasano. Great move to get away from Witherspoon. And then the middle linebacker, Tulloch, decides to turn him loose, and that's a cover 2 where the middle linebacker is supposed to take the middle of the field there. For some reason, Tulloch saw something in the flat and left Fasano wide open.
From the 35. And Brown is devoured. Looked like that football was loose at the end, but Brown's got it, hit by Tulloch and William Hayes. We'll hit the 2-minute warning here in the second quarter. Dolphins and Titans tied at 10. Coming up, Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cowher, the latest NFL scores and highlights, all coming up on the Sprint halftime report. 2nd and 9, just across the 35-yard line for Henne. Throwing to Devon Bess. Protection holds up. Tried to drop it in the bucket to Randy Moss. Al Harris there defensively, so a couple of veterans who know one another, Moss and Harris. And it's Harris who wins that mini battle.
You know, there's some defensive backs in this league that would not have shoved Randy Moss at the end of this play. 13-year veteran Al Harris, he's going to tell Moss, hey, no freebies here. Never have been with Al Harris.
So Al Harris from Pompano Beach, Florida, getting an opportunity here with the Dolphins. They released Jason Allen, who was the number 16 pick in 2006. He's been claimed by Houston. Collins, 2nd and 10, another wobbly ball. Incomplete. Justin Gage, former college basketball player at 6'4". He's got the height, but even he can't get upstairs to get it.
Yeah, if this was a duck season, you'd hear a lot of shotguns after this one. But his finger's got to be just killing him. Middle finger with a tore a tendon in the tip of the finger. And he's having trouble controlling that spiral.
Well, he showed it to us. And
got a little tape on it right
now. It does. It looked like the finger of a defensive lineman, not of a quarterback in the NFL. Johnson, can he get the first down? He can! Chris Johnson and a flag thrown. Able to dance his way out across the 40-yard line. His ability to shift in small spaces.
This one's coming back.
Number 12 of the offense. 10-yard penalty remains. 3rd down.
Going to get Justin Gage for holding. Gage frustrated, not being able to make the catch on the previous play. This wipes out one of the best runs of the afternoon for Chris Johnson.
So with 1:03 to play now in this first half, back it up.
3rd and 16 from the 22.
Javon Ringer is in there for Tennessee. Passing situation for the Titans, 4 receivers set. Randy Moss still has not had a catch. Running play, and Ringer is dropped. It's Tony McDaniel who rings the bell on the stop.
Go back to the holding call on Justin Gage, which turns out to be huge right now. We have another flag down on the last play. Here's Gage. He's going to toss to the ground. Benny Sapp there. No need to toss him to the ground. Johnson was already by him.
But Dan, a face mask has been called against the Miami Dolphins. They had Tennessee stopped with under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter. They've just given them new life.
Well, and the life comes in the fact that Rob Baronis has a huge leg. Career long of 60 yards. He banged in against Indianapolis back in '06. Check out the face mask right there. Pretty obvious on Javon Ringer there.
Tony McDaniel got a hold of it. And the Titans have it, a 1st and 10 at the 34. Rush coming. Collins sits in the pocket and throws out across the middle to Bo Scaife, breaking a tackle, but whistle was blown. Sean Smith there defensively. So that stopped the play as time is winding down. 40 seconds left. Rob Baronis, career long of 60 yards back in 2006. Trying to get to the 42-yard line to put him in a position to put points on the board. Collins, deep drop, forced out of the pocket. Throwing on the move, incomplete. Dansby supplied the pressure, and Gage, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 8 now for Tennessee with 25 seconds remaining in this 2nd quarter.
This is a game of 1 step forward, 2 steps back, isn't it?
Sure is. Collins with 47 yards passing. Tennessee has 122 yards of offense. Chad Henne didn't come into this game expecting that he would be the guy calling signals, but Chad Pennington goes out early. So Henne is called upon. Vince Young is the backup today to carry Collins. 3rd and 8. Collins hits Gage, and Gage is hit hard by Jeremiah Bell. And that should do it for this first half. Now Kerry Collins is limping off the field.
Yeah, how much you know about Rusty Smith? Young man from Florida International. Let's check out the injury to Collins. It's his left leg or ankle. Boy, it doesn't look like maybe he pulled a muscle going back to pass, but he was no contact at all on Collins.
This has been a bizarre first half in Miami. Tennessee and Miami tied at 10. We'll come back with a Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Halftime, Miami and Tennessee tied at 10. Big storyline coming into this game. Randy Moss, newest acquisition by the Titans, and Moss arriving earlier, meeting up with his former college teammate Chad Pennington. Got a pass interference call early, but then Miami got very physical.
Well, he was only targeted twice. You're going to see on both times that the Dolphins were coming after him, not giving him any free room.
Right now, let's take a look at the points of protection presented by Allstate.
Well, for Tennessee, their one mistake when Bosquet fumbled led to Miami's first touchdown. And, of course, Miami now has got to protect Chad Henne. Tyler Thigpen is the third quarterback. And speaking of third quarterbacks, Tennessee, we may see their third quarterback, Rusty Smith, because of what happened to Kerry Collins there at the end of the first half.
Well, let's get you updated. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. We came into this game, Chad Pennington against Kerry Collins, 34-year-old, and Collins soon to be 38. Pennington gets knocked out of the game early, so Chad Henne steps in. Towards the end of the first half, Kerry Collins limps off, injured following this throw.
Yeah, I think that Dansby putting pressure on him, forcing him out of the pocket, is where he injured himself. The very next play was not touched at all, and he could barely get to the locker room at halftime. It took him 3 minutes to clear the field.
Vince Young, the second quarterback because of a high ankle sprain, and Rusty Smith listed as the third quarterback today for Tennessee. And we're going to hope to get word on Kerry Collins, specifically what that injury is. The Tennessee Titans will kick it off to start this second half. Carroll will take it out of the end zone. And tripped up before he was able to hit the 20-yard line by Nick Schomer. Numbers from that first half.
Well, the rushing yardage just pitiful for the Dolphins. Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown averaging over 4 yards a carry so far this season, and the Titan defense has just totally shut them down. Passing for the Titans has not been very good. Kerry Collins having a rough go, 9 out of 20 for just those 51 yards and apparent leg injury. Weird 10-10 game, hadn't it been?
It has. Everybody was focused on Moss's impact on the Tennessee Titans, how it would affect the running game, how it would affect the younger players on this team, and that has not even been the headline here. Henne out of the pocket and brought down. He slides as Stephen Tulloch is there to make sure he doesn't go any farther.
Yeah, go back to the very first offensive play for the Dolphins. Chad Pennington's going to get pushed into his own left tackle. Jake Long. He's had 3 surgeries on his right arm, right shoulder. The word is he's questionable to return.
No, we haven't seen him since. Went to the locker room, and oftentimes you'll see a player come back to the sideline. 2nd and 9. Williams and Lex Hilliard in there. It's Williams releasing out of the backfield. Henne, dump off for Hilliard. And Hilliard across the 20-yard line. They're nickel and diming right now with Jason Babin there defensively. First half possessions for Miami. A touchdown after a Bosquet fumble. They took advantage of that. Then they tried a fake punt. That didn't work. They punted twice. Got a field goal after a long drive, but they had 3rd and short and an opportunity to get the ball in the end zone. They tried a fade route, Chad Henne to Brian Hartline, which was broken up. We're tied at 10, just underway in this second half. 4 receiver set. Henne to throw. And Devon Bess on the quick slant across the 35, and a new set of downs for Miami to work with.
This is what we talked about, Devon Best after the catch. Here comes the blitz again. They're going to hot receiver this one. Good job by Hartline getting in the way of the safety there, and a good pickup on third down. One a rare pickup for third down conversion for the Dolphins.
16-yard pass play. Again, an empty backfield, and spread it in this formation on first down. Penny gets rid of the ball quickly, and he's looking to ride Best right now as Best short gainer to the 40-yard line. Give him a gain of 3. Jason McCourty in coverage for Tennessee.
Pretty good chess match going on between Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator for the Dolphins, and Chuck Cecil, the defensive coordinator for the Titans. Exact same formation, exact same play, exact same blitz came that time from Cecil.
Tennessee Titans coming off their bye week. They've won 4 in a row after the bye. They're 13-8 all time following the bye. 2nd and 7 now. Penny underneath the coverage, and he's able to make the connection with Patrick Cobbs. So right now Miami is wheeling in different parts of their personnel. We've seen Hilliard, we've seen Cobbs, his first catch of the season for Cobbs, and it's a first down for the Dolphins.
And we're not seeing any running backs in the backfield either, Ian. It's all wide open offense for Dan Henning, as both Brown and Williams are on the sidelines, and Cobbs remains in the game right here.
So Chad Pennington injured, that right shoulder injury earlier today. Chad Henne stepping in for him. Henne throwing over the middle, wide open, Fasano. Tackled at the 21-yard line by Michael Griffin and Chris Hope.
That's twice now that Fasano has found a lot of room to work right down the middle of the field. Here he is right here, right down the middle. It's a cover 2, and the crossing patterns underneath pull the linebackers up, and that lets Fasano get down the middle.
And a 28-yard hookup. Miami on the move, a 1st and 10 at the Tennessee 21. First possession of the second half. Fake the running play. Penny throwing. Brandon Marshall lost his footing a bit. Tackled down at the 11-yard line. Marshall just threw the football towards the sideline, and a flag down.
Delay a game on Marshall. You can't just pick up the ball and throw it off the field. This is unbelievable. Frustrated that this is only a second catch. It's going to cost his team 5 yards.
Marshall got up and chucked the ball towards the near sideline. And Pete Morelli sorting out the penalty right now.
Jake Long trying to say, hey, he was throwing it to the ball boy over there.
The result of the play is a first down, Miami. After the play was over, delay of game, number 19 the offense by throwing a ball down the field. 5-yard penalty. After the enforcement of the 5-yard penalty, it'll still be 1st and 10.
The reason that took so long is the officials had to determine, first of all, if the catch to Marshall was good enough for the first down. This is inexcusable, though, right now. Frustrated receiver. This is second catch of the afternoon. A costly action right there.
Yeah, just lost his cool. Unnecessary, and it cost his team.
I am back.
After the first down. So back it up. Henning. Out of the pocket, throwing over the head of Marshall, incomplete. Cortland Finnegan, tight coverage back there for Tennessee.
10-yard penalty, still 1st down.
And holding called, penalty on that play. So back it up for Miami again.
Well, the Dolphins were rolling until Marshall threw that ball off the field after his first down catch.
Didn't hear a number. It had to be Vernon Carey was the only one in that area. So now a 1st and 20 back at the 26-yard line. It was indeed called on Carey. Penny, wobbly throw caught by Cobbs, and Cobbs cut down at the 15-yard line, so they get back the yardage off the penalties. And Patrick Cobbs has come in and made some plays on the offensive side for the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins have just been throwing the ball on almost every down of this possession. Henny getting in rhythm now. Ball at the 15. Ricky Williams comes in the game. We'll see how this changes the play selection.
They actually entered the game number 16 in the NFL in rushing. Last year they finished number 4 in the league in that category. This is a 2nd and 9. They go to the ground game, and it's Williams wrestling his way for a yard inside the 15. Now Williams lost his helmet in the process.
That's 15 rushes today for 18 yards officially for the Dolphins.
Ricky told us he's been touching the ball about 10 times per game. It has kept him young and he stays fresh, but he'd like to be a lot more involved in the offense. He'd always like to do a little bit more. He's not going to be able to do it from the sideline right now. On a 3rd and 9 for Miami. Dolphins trying to take the lead here. Under 9 minutes to go in the 3rd. Henny to throw. It's complete to Hartline, and Hartline driven towards the sideline short of a first down. So Hartline's been the go-to guy for Chad Henne. Miami's going to have to settle for a short field goal attempt. Carpenter's made 23 in a row within 45 yards. He had made 14 field goals in a row until missing a 46-yarder last week against Baltimore. So Carpenter comes on. 26-yard attempt. Fields will hold it. And Miami takes the lead. Pro Bowler Dan Carpenter nails the short field goal. 13-10, Dolphins. 11 plays, 75 yards for Miami. They had gotten it to the 11-yard line. Brandon Marshall called for a delay of game after throwing the football in frustration. And that affected the momentum of that drive. Henne was 8 of 8 on that drive. And Miami's got a 13-10 lead. Dan Carpenter kicking it off. Mark Mariani will take a knee. And look who's coming into the game for the Tennessee Titans. Vince Young will run the Titans offense when we return.
Look at all the Toyotas for sale. Let's go with...
I'm selling my Toyota RAV4.
Do you know anything at all about the Escape?
It's a nice light blue color, much like my eyes.
My goodness, it's true. The mileage is extraordinary, 28 miles per gallon on the highway. It's a voice-activated sync system.
All around, it's better than my Toyota.
Get our best deals, 0% financing. And as a holiday bonus, we'll give you $1,500 toward your first 3 payments.
Is it wrong to drive a Toyota to Ford's year-end celebration?
Not if you leave it behind.
At first, sure, they couldn't do enough for me. If anything, it was a little too much. But the moment they had my money, nothing. No phone calls, no feedback, no, here's how your money's doing. I mean, what about a little sign that you're still interested? Come on, surprise me.
A go-to person to help you get started. Regular detailed analysis of your portfolio. For a whole lot of extras at no extra charge, talk to Chuck.
Hello? Playing Black Ops yet? Yeah, it's awesome. I got it at Walmart at midnight. Me too. I just stole a Russian Hind attack chopper. You couldn't steal a Russian attack tricycle. Look, you better call in some backup reinforcements, man, because I don't go down easy. Out of the vehicle. I don't need backup. And do it all by myself. The problem is I don't respect you because I've played you, man, and you got nothing on me.
Rated M for mature. Get Call of Duty Black Ops. The best way to play is Xbox 360. The fastest way to play is Walmart. Save money, live better. Walmart.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Walmart. Save money. Live better. Walmart. And by the new 2011 Ford F-150. Built Ford tough.
And rejoining you here at Sun Life Stadium. Opened up back in 1987. It's hosted 5 Super Bowls. This game has not been played at the level of a Super Bowl.
Not exactly.
Vince Young is in. A calf injury for Kerry Collins. And a handoff to Chris Johnson. Koamisi there to greet him as he picks up a yard. What can we expect from Vince Young, who's not 100% himself because of the high ankle sprain?
Well, I know the Dolphins will not change their plan as far as rushing the passer. Kerry Collins not the most mobile quarterback, and now you've got Vince Young. He's not going to run it all. So they're going to be zeroing in on Young in the pocket. Whether Young can even avoid the pass rush is a big question for Tennessee, working on a bad high ankle sprain.
Can Young get Randy Moss in on the act here? Very little practice time this week for Young. A deep drop. Young pass deflected at the line of scrimmage.
And that's one of the things about Vince Young, because he does have such a low delivery. Comes right off the shoulder. Very easy to block his passes. Watch how easy it is for, it looks like right up the middle. It's Paul Soliai sticking his left hand up here and easily deflecting that pass.
The Tennessee Titans face a 3rd and 9. They are 1 of 8 on 3rd down conversions today. Fans are on their feet here in Miami. Dime package for the Dolphins. Shotgun formation for Young. Here comes the rush. Young in trouble. Young loses the football. It's still loose. Randy Starks had a beat on it. Jeremiah Bell knocked it free. Dolphins have got it. And it's Starks, the former Titan.
Jeremiah Bell told us yesterday that it's moving time for the Dolphins. Watch 37 move in on the quarterback. Nobody there to pick him up. Chris Johnson started to come over to help out David Stewart. There's the fumble, ball on the ground, and now Starks at the bottom of that pile maybe. But Young never really had a chance there, trying to gather that ball in after Bell knocked it out.
1st and 10 at the Tennessee 13. Henny looks, Henny throws, end zone, incomplete. Marshall, the intended receiver, in a matchup with Cortland Finnegan.
Now this is why Cortland Finnegan goes to the Pro Bowls. Watch this play on Marshall. Marshall again is 6 inches taller than Finnegan, but Finnegan gets his right hand in here. This ball is late from Henning to Marshall. Marshall was free early. Ball came in late. That allowed Finnegan to get back on it.
2nd down for the Dolphins. 7:06 to play in the 3rd. Fasano goes in motion. Henny straight back. Throwing. Patrick Cobbs. He's in. Touchdown Dolphins. Miami adds to its lead. Off the turnover by Vince Young.
Well, it's a matchup against a linebacker. Here's Cobbs right here. This is a great throw by Henny. Right over the shoulder of Witherspoon, and Cobbs gets into the corner of the end zone. Beautiful play.
Vernon Carey hurt on the play for Miami. We'll step aside. Vernon Carey, starting right tackle, was able to walk off on his own. What looked to be a knee injury of some sort, but Carey appears to be okay. Dan Carpenter on for the extra point. And Miami now in front 20-10 with 6:59 to play in the 3rd. Jeremiah Bell helping to make sure that Vince Young lost the football. They took advantage of it.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade. And by Verizon, the official wireless service provider of the NFL.
The Miami Dolphins have turned 2 Tennessee turnovers into 14 points. That was just 2 plays, 13 yards. Cobbs, the touchdown reception for Miami. Carpenter kicking off to Mariani. They'll take it out of the end zone. Mariani up the middle. And tripped up from behind. Mariani diving across the 25-yard line. Vontae Davis there to bring him down. Now, right now, we'd like to congratulate longtime Miami Herald columnist Edwin Pope. Earlier today, here at Sun Life Stadium, the press box was officially christened the Edwin Pope Press Box. Pope's been a columnist here in South Florida for 54 years. He's one of 4 journalists to have covered every Super Bowl ever played. Congratulations, Edwin Pope. His name will be forever linked here at the stadium. 1st and 10 for Tennessee. At its own 26-yard line. Play fake. Vince Young in for the injured Kerry Collins. Young throwing, trying to hit Nate Washington, and it's incomplete.
This is just so puzzling to me. That time it's man-to-man on both sides of the field, and Randy Moss had the exact same route called on this side of the field, was wide open, but Vince Young never looked at him. Of course, Vince Young did not practice much this week, if at all. Took a couple of snaps with the first-team offense on Thursday.
For Miami, Kendall Langford just limped off the field a bit. Tony McDaniel comes in to spell him. Randy Moss has not registered a catch here today. Much anticipated Titans debut. Pitch. Chris Johnson. Up the middle, Johnson. And Johnson is loose. Good block by Randy Moss as Johnson is ridden down by Carlos Dansby. Chris Johnson turning it into a 29-yard running play.
And he's over 100 yards rushing one more time. This really shows his versatility, too. Little pitch play, misdirection, sees the hole, gets through it. Now he's looking for help on the outside. Make one guy miss. There's the Moss block right there. And Dansby with the tackle. But into Dolphin territory, just like that, thanks to Chris Johnson.
14 for 106 officially, 1 touchdown. Ringer is in for him. Young to throw it. Young dumping it off for Ringer and had his legs taken out from under him by Chris Clemens. So brought down at the 40-yard line. For Randy Moss, we know what he has done in previous stops along the way. First game for Minnesota, first game in the NFL, 2 touchdowns, 95 yards. Debut with Oakland, 130 yards and a touchdown. How about New England in 07, 183 yards and a touchdown. And then earlier this season, after getting traded to Minnesota, he comes up with a touchdown. Running play to Ringer. And Ringer goes down quickly. Channing Crowder leading that charge for Miami. They'll give him a gain of a yard on the play to the 39.
Moss trying to get involved, helping out the running attack. We saw a good block just a minute ago for Chris Johnson. He whiffed on that one, though.
That was for Javon Ringer. And now a 3rd and 5. Randy Moss, 3rd team this season. No player has ever scored a touchdown for 3 different teams in one season. Moving pocket. Young throwing on the move. And it's Nate Washington with the catch. And a first down for Tennessee.
Boy, Young looked good on that rollout, didn't he? Here's Washington working the sidelines. This is just the second 3rd down conversion of the afternoon out of 10 tries for the Titans. But Young looks very good here. He knew he was going to Washington the whole way.
And the first catch of the day for Washington, who busted out against San Diego a couple of weeks ago. 4 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown. First down for the Titans. Young throwing. Deep ball up top. Almost intercepted. Trying to hit Justin Gage.
Benny Sapp should have picked that one off. He's shaking his head right now. He knows he had a great opportunity. Young trying to squeeze this one into Gage. And that's great coverage. Looked like Sapp had his hands on it when they came to the ground. Gage may have dislodged that ball. Saved the interception.
2nd and 10 for Tennessee. Kendall Langford back in there now for Miami. From the Dolphins' 32-yard line, just over 4 minutes to go in the 3rd. Dolphins leading 20-10. It's a pitch for Johnson. Johnson turns it upfield. And Chris Johnson sticks his helmet down and is able to churn out extra yardage to the 24. Koamisi missed him initially. Chris Johnson has got his name among the greats in NFL history for what he's been able to do so far in his 3-year NFL career. Most rushing yards per game in the history of the league, just behind Jim Brown and ahead of Barry Sanders.
That's a stat you want to hang your hat on right there. Man.
8 100-yard games in his last 9 on the road coming in. Now 9 of his last 10, including his performance today. 3rd and 2. Titans trying to convert. And they will with Ahmad Hall. So Hall got involved early in the passing game, and he's able to secure that football at a new set of downs for Tennessee to work with.
Yeah, he gained 8 yards on his first catch. In this one, he converts a 3rd down, 2nd time in a row that Vince Young's been able to find the right receiver. Good effort by Hall to drag Jeremiah Bell for that 1st down.
Chad Henne waiting his turn. 1st and 10 at the 21 for the Titans. Ringer is in there for Tennessee. Running play. Ringer running hard, but he's thrown down by Quentin Moses after he picks up a couple on the play.
It's clear that Mike Heimerdinger wants to run the ball to Randy Moss's side, whether he's lined up on the left side or the right side as he was that time, trying to get the defense to be more concerned with Moss, opening up some running lanes for Ringer or Johnson.
This is the #1 scoring team in the NFL, and a lot of their damage is getting. Second and 8 now. Ringer stays in the game. Young to throw it. Young slings it over the middle. He's got Nate Washington, and Washington will be short of a 1st down inside the 15. We're under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd as Davis and Dansby combine to bring him down.
Well, the big reason that the Titans are the leading scoring team in the NFL is their ability to score after takeaways. But as you said, Ian, just one takeaway this afternoon. That was the interception by Finnegan.
Big play here on a 3rd and 3. From the 14.
At some point, you got to zero in on number 84, don't you?
Young looking. Fade route. Washington's got it. Touchdown, Titans. Vontae Davis got spun around, and Nate Washington made him pay. Tennessee closes in on Miami.
Well, they doubled Moss on the other side. Young recognized it. He had Washington singled up with Davis. And this is a beautiful throw. Great reaction by Washington. As you said, Ian, you can see Davis has no clue that the ball is just sailing right over the top of his head. Here's the double coverage on the other side. Safety to the inside, just out of our picture, but believe me, he was looking for Moss.
15-yard touchdown, and the attention that Moss draws is going to free up other players, including Washington. Rob Baronis the extra point. 20-17, Miami in front. Nate Washington, who won a couple of Super Bowls with Pittsburgh, making a difference here with Tennessee. Aerial coverage of today's game being provided by DirecTV. The Miami Dolphins 0-3 at home. The Tennessee Titans 5-3 overall coming off their bye week. Tennessee has cut into the Miami lead. 20-17, Dolphins in front, just over a minute to go now in the 3rd quarter. Baronis kicking off to Nolan Carroll. Carroll across the 30. And spun down to the 35 as Baronis got down there to help in coverage. 38-yard return. Coming up tonight on CBS, the kingpin of Lucky Strike Bowling goes undercover. You can't miss an all-new Undercover Boss. That's tonight only. CBS. 35-yard line. That's where Miami will start this drive. 1:06 to play in the 3rd. Miami has gotten away from its ground game. It was basically exclusive pass the last couple of possessions. Play fake, and he hit hard and goes down. Scrum for the loose ball. Tony Brown got him. Pushing and shoving after the play. And Henne is slow to get up.
Yeah, he got hit low. And this is sometimes called, sometimes it's not. This should be a penalty.
The third quarterback for Miami is Tyler Thigpen, former starter with Kansas City.
And he's going to have to get loose in a hurry. Thigpen has completed 2 out of 6 this season. Thrown 1 interception. Here's the sack by Tony Brown. Actually, that's a good play by Brown. He was around his waist, but it's the left leg that maybe is injured for Chad Henne.
Now that had more to do with Henne going down awkwardly than Brown doing something that was illegal.
Yeah, it could be an ankle or the knee.
Henne stood in the pocket. They whistled this play dead.
They're going to say that's the tuck rule. That's an incomplete pass.
Arm was moving forward. It's ruled incomplete on the field as Jacob Ford came away with a loose ball. They're going to try to help Chad Henne to his feet. Chad Pennington out of this game with a shoulder injury. Chad Henne now is walking off on his own. Tyler Thigpen, a 7th-round pick in 2007 out of Coastal Carolina, is next in line. Kerry Collins out of this game with a calf injury. Vince Young is in for him.
Looks like they're going to go the Wildcat.
That's the other option that Miami has. They can buy some time here and go with the Wildcat, which they will. Ronnie Brown. Trickery. Deep ball. Brandon Marshall throwing into a crowd. Incomplete.
Brandon Marshall throwing to the entire secondary of the Titans. 4 defensive backs down there around Patrick Cobbs. Marshall showing off his arm. Maybe that's why he threw the ball to the sidelines. He was just getting loose.
They could not put Thigpen into the game because it's still the third quarter. He's the third quarterback, and he would have had to remain in there for the rest of the game if they placed him in here.
Boy, a couple of guys have a chance for that one. Werner. Marshall saying that's my fault. Maybe he had to have somebody else open, didn't he?
He got his arm loose earlier when he chucked the ball to the sidelines on the delay of game.
And now a timeout by Miami. Boy, total disarray because of the injury to both quarterbacks.
Has this game been weird or what? They are stretching out Chad Henne along the Miami sideline. We still have 48 seconds to play in this third quarter. And it's a 3rd and 10 for the Dolphins, leading Tennessee 20-17. 5 different players have taken snaps today at quarterback. Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams in there. They're running the Wildcat. And it's Williams. Ricky Williams snaking his way for a first down. Out near midfield. We have not seen a whole lot of Wildcat this season for the Miami Dolphins. It has been so successful in the past.
A real good job of reading the defense by Ronnie Brown. He saw the defensive end, Jacob Ford, crash in. He gave the ball to Ricky Williams, and Ricky picks up a huge first down for Miami as it appears Henne is headed to the locker room.
One second difference, play clock to game clock. They run it again to Williams, and Williams tripped up. Oh boy, that one looked like it might go the distance. Ricky Williams appeared as if he got shot out of a cannon. Jake Long coming out to help block. And we end this third quarter with a bang. Fourth quarter is next.
This Christmas, be savvy.
Starting Veterans Day, get big appliance savings at Sears. Like 20% off all Kenmore appliances. Plus, save $1,000 on this Samsung washer dryer pair with steam. Save $400 on this front-load LG laundry pair. And get 45% off this LG 4-door refrigerator. Search Sears Appliances for our everyday best prices, guaranteed. Sears, be the Santa you want to be.
Iron Eagle Dan Faust rejoining you here. Fourth quarter, Miami leading Tennessee 20-17. Tyler Thigpen has come in, but he's not taking the snap. They stay in the Wildcat. Ricky Williams. And Williams slides forward as he's able to carry it to the 26-yard line for the Dolphins. The injuries at quarterback today. It began with Chad Pennington, a shoulder injury, knocked out of the game. Kerry Collins, late stages of the second quarter, a calf injury. He has not returned. Chad Henne, a knee injury. His return is questionable.
And Dan Henning deciding to stay with Ronnie Brown as his tailback. Thigpen's back to the sideline.
On a 2nd and 9. Brown will keep it. And pushing forward across the 25. Dave Ball there to help make the stop. In 2009, they had 75 plays using the Wildcat. Through 8 games this season, only 20. Miami's must-win scenario. What's the difference between 4-5 and 5-4? Well, percentage-wise, there's a world of difference if you want to make the playoffs.
Yeah, especially when you're looking up at the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. You don't win this game, you don't get the wild card, you don't get first place probably.
Tyler Thigpen, the 6th player to take a snap today at quarterback between these two teams. This is a 3rd and 6. In his 4th year from Coastal Carolina. Thigpen throwing, high throw. Devon Bess got his hand on it, but so did Michael Griffin.
And you can see what Chuck Cecil decides to do against the 3rd quarterback. Thigpen is going to come with a blitz. Werner again off the slot. Bess has his man beat. Michael Griffin, ball thrown too high and almost picked off.
So Dan Carpenter comes on for Miami. Just underway, 4th quarter. 42-yard attempt. He has been money inside 45 yards. Carpenter. He nails it. 23-17. Dolphins leading the Titans in the 4th. The Miami Dolphins have suffered 5 straight losses at home going back to week 16 of last season. Dolphins get a field goal out of that drive. They lose their quarterback Chad Henne in the process to a knee injury after losing their starter today, Chad Pennington, to a shoulder injury. Dan Carpenter kicking off. Returnable from Mark Mariani. Flag thrown. Mariani. He spun down across the 30-yard line. Penalty marker on the play. Benny Sapp making the play on special teams.
Flag thrown at the 20. If it's against the Titans, it'll be backed up to the 10-yard line.
During a return, holding, number 57 of the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
And that's Patrick Bailey, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. 13:23 to play in the 4th. Tennessee trail Miami by 6.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Sony and Sony Internet TV. Television and internet together at last. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Toyota.
Tennessee Titans with the football, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Pitch to Chris Johnson. And Johnson hit hard by Tony McDaniel. Give him a gain of 3 on the play.
Not been the best day for the diva wide receivers, has it been? Randy Moss only contributed a couple times on running plays with good blocks. That did draw a 33-yard pass interference way back in the 1st quarter, but frustrating afternoon for both these fellas.
Brandon Marshall basically guaranteed the Dolphins would make the playoffs in an interview this past week. Shotgun formation, Young. Out of the pocket, trying to throw on the move. And he'll walk the tightrope along the sideline. Vince Young showing some agility despite that high ankle sprain.
I mean, he shows no ill effects of that ankle at all. A little limp there as he jogs back to the huddle, but no limp here as he rolls out on his own and then turns the speed on right about there to get close to the first down, just a yard shy.
Ducks out of bounds at the 24. It's a 3rd and 1 for Tennessee. Randy Moss along the sideline along with Nate Washington. Looks like a running play here. Chris Johnson in the backfield. Nope, fake the handoff. Young looking downfield. Young throwing. It's complete to Bo Scaife. Holds on to the football for a first down to the 35. Little deception there for Tennessee as Jeremiah Bell with the hit. Vince Young, the injury this year against Jacksonville. The high ankle sprain and the knee.
Really a bad decision to try to pick up that fumble and make something out of it. You got so many bodies around, big bodies around, and that's what happened there as he got bent over backwards.
And he re-injured it against San Diego before the bye. Handoff to Johnson. And Johnson gang tackled at the 35-yard line. Crowder, Sean Smith, both there for Miami.
You know, for a guy that hasn't practiced this week and during the bye week, Vince Young very sharp in his relief of Kerry Collins. The last drive, he was 5 of 7 for 33 yards and a touchdown pass. In fact, he completed 3 passes to Nate Washington.
The Miami Dolphins, we mentioned 0-3 at home. No team has ever started 0-4 at home and made the playoffs in NFL history. 2nd and 10. They handle the rush. Young floats it upstairs. Justin Gage can't catch it. And he sat back there defensively. Young put it in a place where Gage could make a play. Unable to secure it. 3rd and 10.
Really a nice play by Benny Sapp. Ball right to the hands of Gage, and then Sapp comes in and pokes it out with his right hand. What an effort there. Look as he keeps Gage from pulling the ball into his body.
Formerly with Kansas City and Minnesota. Now in his 5th year in the NFL, acquired in a trade. 3rd and 10. Shotgun for Young. Young steps up. Young trying to get the first down with his legs. And he'll come up short. Quentin Moses helped make sure of it. Vince Young needed to get the full 10 yards. And it's not enough.
I just can't get over how well he's moving. He put on about 3 or 4 moves on that run. Checking himself out on the replay board right now. Yeah, that looked pretty good.
But not good enough. 8 yards. Brett Kern will punt it to Devon Bess. Bess waiting for it at the 14-yard line. Spiraling kick towards the sideline, and this one's out of bounds. Bess will not even get an opportunity here. They'll take the walk up the sideline, mark it at the 15. Tyler Thigpen and the Miami Dolphins offense back on the field. (23-17) Miami leading Tennessee. We've got 9:42 remaining in this 4th quarter. Big headline of the week was the Titans and Randy Moss making his Tennessee debut. That has not been the headline, though, here today. Thigpen throwing. And Marshall unable to catch it. Cortland Finnegan has been giving Marshall fits all day. Coming up tonight on 60 Minutes. The first living soldier to earn the Medal of Honor since Vietnam. Plus, could the answer to our energy problems be right under our noses? Find out tonight on 60 Minutes only. CBS. Long day for Randy Moss. No catches today. Moss did not catch a ball against Miami in his last game as a member of the New England Patriots. He got shut out. 2nd and 10. Fake the handoff. Thigpen, 3rd quarterback of the day for Miami. Brandon Marshall with the catch and a first down. If you want to count the Wildcat, there have been more than 3 quarterbacks, but traditional quarterbacks, Thigpen.
Yeah, and Marshall's going to win this battle against Finnegan this time because this ball is thrown to the only place Marshall can catch it away from the defense and just beyond the underneath coverage by Michael Griffin. 16 yards, big play for Thigpen.
Just his 3rd catch of the day, 34 yards for Marshall. Fake the handoff, moving pocket. Thigpen throwing, Fasano! Penalty marker down. Fasano is wrestled to the ground, but the penalty flag is back at the 28-yard line.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask. Number 93, the defense. 15-yard penalty to be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Jason Babin called on the penalty.
Yeah, he grabbed the face mask of Mastrud, the backup tight end. Babin trying to rush the passer. Here's the matchup right here. And watch, Babin's going to reach out with his right hand and just keep Mastrud on the line of scrimmage. Actually, it was his left hand, but big play by Fasano, staying alive down the field for his quarterback. Fasano's having a huge day. It's caught a couple of long ones over the middle, that one on the sideline.
3 catches, 90 yards for Fasano. 31-yard pass play and the 15-yard penalty, a 1st and 10 at the 23. It's a pitch for Ronnie Brown. Just did not have a hole to work with as these 2 teams continue to tussle once the whistle is blown. Stephen Tulloch in on that stop.
This is a couple of moments ago. Brandon Marshall got his 3rd catch of the afternoon. Been a frustrating. This was after his 2nd catch when he drew the delay of game penalty. Thought he had a chance for a touchdown there on the fade route. And then he's going to challenge the entire secondary of the Titans. Lucky that one wasn't picked off. My fault, you bet.
2nd and 9 for Miami. At the Titan 22-yard line, we hit the 8-minute mark of this 4th quarter. Fake the handoff. Thigpen floats it upstairs for Fasano. Anthony Fasano battling for extra yardage. Stephen Tulloch in on that stop for Tennessee. Thigpen has got this offense moving.
Fasano now 4 catches, 103 yards. And this one is a classic tight end type of reception and then run after the catch. Hangs with that floater and then runs over Finnegan and takes a couple of Titans to the sidelines.
It is not quite enough for the 1st down.
You know, one thing, Ian, is that Vernon Carey is back in at right tackle for the Dolphins, so he shook off that right knee injury.
3rd and short. Inside handoff, Polite. 1st down, Miami. Excellent short yardage option. Polite gives Miami a fresh set of downs with 7:04 and counting left in this 4th quarter. And they'll go Wildcat now. Thigpen to the Miami sideline.
Now, one thing to remember about Ronnie Brown is he is left-handed, and he can throw the ball better than you might think. So the Dolphins lining up 3 receivers to the left side. I'd be surprised if Brown doesn't throw.
Brown will take the snap on 1st down. He'll run it. Brown running over Titans and driving inside the 10. They'll be marked down at the 6. Michael Griffin there defensively for Tennessee. 2nd and 4 coming up. Thigpen now returns for the Dolphins.
2nd and 4 from the 6.
How about your week of preparation? And that's the one thing about the NFL. Just because you think the game's going to go a certain way, it doesn't necessarily follow that script.
Well, and Thigpen does have that experience when he played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
2nd and 4. It's a pitch for Brown, and Brown is hit right away by Gerald McRath. He lost his helmet, and he made a terrific defensive play for the Tennessee Titans defense.
Great recognition and explosion from the linebacker. Here's McGrath. Watch as he's going to slice in here. Get underneath Carey and bring down Brown at the 10-yard line. Mark it at the 9, but that's a type of play that this Tennessee defense needs, bringing up a 3rd and goal. Or 3rd down and 7.
From the 9. Remember, a field goal gives them a 9-point lead. Miami can't make a big mistake here. Thigpen throwing. Touchdown! It is a career day for Anthony Fasano.
You think you get excited when you throw your first touchdown pass of the year when you didn't even expect to be playing? What a perfect throw by Thigpen, throwing it high to Fasano. Fasano's just going to go right to the goal line. Remember, he's 6'4", and Big Thigpen puts it up there between Hope and Werner. You betcha.
A tremendous throw by Tyler Thigpen, squeezing it into a tight space. So they will go for 2 now, with the idea if they get the deuce, they're up by 14. Two-point conversion try. Ronnie Brown. He'll be stood up. So Miami will have to settle for a 12-point advantage with 5:15 remaining on the clock. (29-17) Dolphins. Who would have thought that Tyler Thigpen would be in the middle of it today?
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Kayak.com. Search one and done.
Dan Carpenter kicking off to Mark Mariani. Tennessee return man across the 20, stays on his feet, and then stumbles down at the 23-yard line for the Titans. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS doubles up. First, Matt Schaub and the Texans match up with Mark Sanchez and the Jets, or the Raiders taking on the Steelers. Then Peyton Manning and Tom Brady ride again. The Colts and the Patriots renewing their rivalry. It all starts live at noon Eastern, beginning with the NFL Today next Sunday. 9 plays, 85 yards. Thigpen was 4 of 5 on that drive. 64 yards and a touchdown. Fasano now 107 yards receiving and a touchdown, a new career high. Vince Young throwing to Bo Scaife. And Scaife out of bounds at the 35 as we head to New York. Check in with JB.
Trailing by a touchdown, IN was Cleveland. Rookie Colt McCoy drove 10 plays, 59 yards, $1:58 off the clock. Hooks up there on 1st and goal from the 3 with Muhammad Massaquoi. It's all knotted at 20:35 left in regulation. IN and day in.
So tight one in Cleveland. Eric Mangini seems to have that team headed in the right direction. Here in Miami, 29-17. Tony Sperano and the Dolphins in front. Young throwing up for grabs. Incomplete. Rashad Jones out of bounds. Nate Washington was the target.
It looked like the ball might even have been deflected or tipped at the line of scrimmage, because this one is out of spiral and out of room is Jones.
Didn't get the 2 feet in.
Nope.
That first one was close. 2nd and 10. From the 35, Young out of the gun, mishandles it initially. Able to regather and throw, and there it is. First catch for Randy Moss as a Tennessee Titan, and it comes at the 4:35 mark of the 4th quarter. First down, Tennessee. 26 yards through the air. Young to Moss.
Yeah, real loose prevent defense for the Dolphins as Al Harris passes Moss off to the safety, who's still out of the picture. Easy completion.
At the 39 of Miami. Young steps, he throws, incomplete. Johnson, the intended receiver. It was not a tight spiral by any stretch to Chris Johnson, and it stops the clock with 4:05 to play in the fourth.
Tennessee does have all three of their timeouts to work with, but a 12-point deficit, an offense that has not looked sharp in a long time. That's a tall order.
Third player in NFL history with a reception for 3 different teams in one season. Ray Pelfrey and Reggie Rucker the previous 2. 2nd and 10 now for the Titans. Young working from the gun. He throws. Good hands by Scaife. Bo Scaife handled that one well, and it appears to be enough for a first down. That's what Jeff Fisher is indicating. Of course, he's not officially in charge, but I think he's right.
Go ahead, caller.
He is. So this drive continues. 7 catches, 51 yards for Scaife. He did have the fumble on the first possession of the game for Tennessee, which turned into 7 points for Miami.
Yeah, the Dolphins have got 14 points off the 2 turnovers they've garnered today.
1st and 10 from the Dolphins 29. We are under 4 minutes to play. Young rifles too high. Washington was the receiver in the area. Kerry Collins forced to leave this game late in the 2nd quarter with a calf injury.
Yeah, he gets chased out of the pocket by Carlos Dansby and pulled a calf muscle. And then after this final play of the first half, he could barely even get off the field.
Walked gingerly to the locker room at halftime. Young is 9 of 16. He was the backup today. He's not 100% because of a high ankle sprain. 2nd and 10. Miami trying to close the book on Tennessee today. Young trying to keep the Titans alive, and it's incomplete. Moss, the intended receiver. And toppling over Rashad Jones, the rookie out of Georgia. 5th-round pick.
Just run out of room here. I mean, Young throws this ball on a line instead of lobbing the ball so that Moss may be able to. Does a kid get to keep the ball?
I don't believe you get the souvenir here in the NFL. I think you have to give that one back.
I don't think he's giving it back. I hope he's okay.
Now they're checking over there after Jones collided. 3rd and 10. Rush coming. Young is thrown down, and it's Rashad Jones. 1st NFL sack.
Now the rookie from Georgia comes up with 2 big plays, once in the end zone, and then how about picking up a sack on the elusive Vince Young? That brings up a desperation 4th down play.
Have to go for it. You just look at the situation. They're down 12 points with 3:28 to play. So Miami with a 29-17 lead. Tennessee will face 4th and 20. Coming up, Subway postgame show. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cower. They've got all the latest NFL scores and the highlights. Week 10 in the NFL. It's coming up on the Subway postgame show. Vince Young having a conversation with offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger. Tyler Thigpen pressed into duty today, the 3rd quarterback on this roster, and getting a chance because of the injuries to Pennington and Henning.
Randy Moss on the sidelines on this 4th down desperation play. It's a ball game, and Randy Moss isn't in the game.
Nope, they bring in Damian Williams, the rookie out of USC. Maybe this is an issue with the familiarity of the offense. Desperation time for Tennessee. Shotgun formation. Young has the time. Young will throw. End zone. Intercepted. Rashad Jones is packing in a lot here in this sequence. His 1st career interception on the heels of his 1st career sack. And Tennessee turns it over.
You know, not to put a dark cloud on this interception, but this costs his team about 36 yards. As the ball, if he knocks it down, will be placed back at the line of scrimmage. But heck, first interception after my first sack. Are you kidding? Shut up, Fouts.
That's what the Joneses family is saying right now.
I don't blame him. Great catch, too. 3 plays in a row for Rashad Jones.
He was there defensively against Randy Moss in coverage, and then the sack followed by the interception. 1st and 10 at the 24 Miami. 3:18 to play. Titans have 2 timeouts to work with. Handoff to Ricky Williams. And Williams getting pushed forward for positive yardage. Jones getting congratulations from his secondary mates.
And who also ought to be congratulated as offensive coordinator Dan Henning. What a job he's done calling plays, having a game plan that's flexible enough to take advantage of the Wildcat. Only 20 plays have been run from the Wildcat all year long. Here's Dan right in the middle. Today they ran 8 plays from Wildcat, and it seemed like every one of them was effective. But then they have to go through 3 quarterbacks. I mean, how much practice time did Tyler Thigpen get this week with the first team offense? I would say probably none.
Tennessee uses a timeout. Boy, are you right about Dan Henning, former head coach with Atlanta and San Diego and the collegiate ranks at Boston College. He has been creative.
You know, and I love the comment that Chad Pennington made about Dan. Of course, he's been with him for a long time. He said that he calls the game from a quarterback's point of view, being a former cornerback himself.
Give is to Williams. Williams trying to stretch out for that extra yard and a 1st down. Didn't get there. Tim Shaw there defensively. So Tennessee will use its final timeout. Stop the clock with 3:05 remaining. Don't forget, Subway postgame show is just around the corner. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, Coach Cower, scores, highlights around the NFL coming up on the Subway postgame show. Now for the Miami Dolphins coming up. Thursday night game, a short week. Who knows what their quarterback situation is going to look like. They've got Chicago just 4 days from now, and then they get the long extended time off before they head to Oakland, the West Coast trip.
Yeah, the big question, though, it looks like Pennington may be done. We don't know how bad Henny's knee injury was, but he had to go to the locker room. Tyler Thigpen has stepped in and really provided the spark that Sperano was looking for.
They need 1 yard to then chew up clock. Tennessee will only have the 2-minute warning available to stop it. Williams fumbles it, scoops it up, and he's got a 1st down. Chris Hope knocked it free.
And I thought he was on the dribble drive there.
Yeah.
I mean, Hope knocks it out right there. Ricky stays with it, picks it up, and picks up the 1st down. Been that type of day.
So Ricky's going to stay in the game. This is what's happened today with the quarterback shuffle. Pennington only 2 attempts on the 1st attempt of the day. Pennington injured his right shoulder. He's had 3 shoulder surgeries in his career. Chad Henne steps in, who had been the starter. Henne then suffers a knee injury, and here is Tyler Thigpen out to close it up. Ricky Williams up the middle. And we're going to hit the 2-minute warning here in the 4th. The Miami Dolphins will improve to 5-4. They're 2 minutes away from securing the win over Tennessee. With the AFC South up in the air, very competitive division, this is going to be a tough loss for Tennessee to swallow. Titans coming off the bye week, re-energized with the acquisition of Randy Moss. And the Dolphins just trying to run this one out. Ricky Williams breaking a tackle and taking it up the middle as he carries short of the 40-yard line.
Yeah, the Dolphins have been able to capitalize on the turnovers early in the game. Both Scaife fumbles there. That led to Ronnie Brown's 1-yard touchdown. Then Vince Young gets the ball knocked away from Jeremiah Bell. And he throws a perfect pass to Patrick Cobbs. 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns for the Dolphins. Something they haven't been able to do very often this year.
So now a 3rd and 4 with 1:24 left. They get a first down. It's over. Ronnie Brown in the backfield with Lou Polite. Fake the handoff. Tyler Thigpen will run for the first down. Good night. The Dolphins will win their first home game of the season and knock off the Titans in the process.
And you look at the Titans schedule. 5 of the last 6 games are divisional games, so even though they lost today, they still have a shot, but it is a tough division, as you said, Ian.
So next up, home for Washington before heading to Houston. Such high hopes for Tennessee after picking up Randy Moss off of waivers, and Moss 1 catch in his Titans debut. A wild chain of events here in South Florida today at the quarterback position. Tyler Thigpen helps earn Miami a win at home. 29-17 the final over Tennessee. Coming up next, it's the Subway postgame show. For Dan Fouts, our entire crew, this is Ian Eagle. So long from Miami. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.